I want to show you what I think is a very cool new 2025 Jeep Wagoneer. And I also want to show you how it compares to its main competition from GM, Ford, and some others. I'm here at the 2025 New York International Auto Show, and this is the 2025 Jeep Wagoneer Overland Special Edition. So I want to kind of show you what's special about it. But the reason why I like it is because I think it brings really good value and also capability all at the same time, all in one vehicle. Of course, this is the largest SUV for Jeep. It's truck-based. It's basically a Ram 1500 platform underneath, except they modified the rear suspension to be independent. And it's humongous. It's 3-row. It's one of the largest on the market. And if I keep this door open, it's going to beep at me, so I'm going to keep it closed for just a while. But Overland is the new special edition. They're going to be building only 2,000 of these, at least for this model year, 2025. And if you guys like it, maybe it will continue into the future. So it's a combination of off-road capability, some additional style, towing capability, of course, luxury, and all at a reasonable price. This starts at about $72,000 before destination and about $74,000 with a destination charge. And I'm also going to compare it against the Chevy Tahoe Z71, maybe even a Ford Expedition Tremor, and Nissan Armada and Toyota Sequoia. But so this combines a couple of things. This has a Quadra-Drive 2 system, which means it's a four-wheel drive high and low, and it's able to send up to about 100% of wheel torque to the front axle or the rear axle. So the system, you can have it in basically four-wheel drive mode high. You could crawl over some rocks in 4 low. I mean, it doesn't have a ton of ground clearance, but you could also raise it up. It's got air suspension right there, and you can get out of some tough situations because that torque split is very can come in handy. And the wheel and tire package is a little bit unique for this one. This is a 20-inch wheel. Of course, style is important. I wish this wheel was maybe an 18-inch, but it's wrapped in this Falcon Wildpeak AT3 WA. So it's kind of a newer tread design that I've seen. I haven't spent a lot of time on these. I know AT3s and AT4 W tires, but this is a little bit new for me. But it looks fairly capable, and also it's got sipes for some snow performance. It's 3-peak rated right there, mud and snow. So, and it's a 32-inch diameter basically. So it's not a ginormous tire, but it should be quite enough because this also have a lockable rear differential, e-locker. So very capable four-wheel drive system, pretty all-terrain capable tires, raised suspension, so you can lift this vehicle up and get a little bit over some obstacles with it. And I'll talk about towing in a second, but let's take a look inside, and let me actually turn my light around so you guys can see a little bit better. And I know I said $74,000 is affordable, and I know you're screaming at your screen right now, but just wait until I talk about some of the other pricing on some of the other competition. As you can see, the rear seat is pretty humongous. It's basically a 60-40 split. And there's a couple of buttons here. So I can click this up and then have this come up in one touch. Then let me actually close the rear hatch. There is a button for that here. Okay, it's now closing. And I'll be able to get inside of here so you can kind of see how I fit. And no matter which car or truck you have, if you plan on keeping it for a longer period of time, you should check out GrangerWarranty.com. Use the link in the description below. Granger Warranty is one of the best sellers of factory-backed extended warranties across the country, and you could save some money while doing it, about $1,000 on average. And you don't have to buy it immediately when you buy a brand new vehicle. You could wait a little bit and then get that warranty. And when your truck needs service, you can be sure that they're using certified components, OEM quality stuff, and the work is done at a certified facility or a dealership anywhere across the country. And actually, I think that has some optional equipment, because I also have a sunroof here in the third row. I have a panoramic roof in the front. But the whole point of this is that it has that Overland name. Overland name means off-roading, going long distance, bringing some stuff with you. This has a heavy-duty tow package and capability of towing 10,000-pound trailers, which is class-leading. A lot of manufacturers will tell you they're raising their tow ratings, like Ford, has increased some of their tow ratings on the new Expedition. GM's been working on that. But all of those guys are still somewhere around 9,000 pounds or a little bit below that. Some of them are actually closer to 8,000 pounds. So the fact that Jeep says this has a capability to tow up to 10,000 just kind of separates it a little bit more. And it has that 3-liter twin-turbo Hurricane engine underneath the hood with 420 horsepower, standard. So you have 420 horsepower, all-terrain tires, really good off-road system, air suspension, which should be fairly comfy, 10,000 pounds of towing, and it starts at around 74,000 and change. I think 74, maybe almost 75,000. So I think that's a pretty good deal. But now let's take a look. What does this compete against? Bam. All right, so here is one competitor. This is a 2025 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. And actually, I'll show you a couple very quickly. This is, of course, at the top of the food chain for Sequoia. This is the most off-road capable, and it's got the most aggressive tires. These are also Falcon Wild Peaks, and actually it's the same AT3W right there. Same, let's see if it's snowflake rated. Actually, I don't see a snowflake on this guy, but I see Sipes. So I think almost very, very similar tires. So you can kind of see the trend. Kind of a tire that combines a little bit of off-road performance, but it combines it with maybe even, good noise characteristics on the highway, a bit of efficiency. Of course, every Sequoia, the new one, is a hybrid. It's got a twin-turbo V6 with an electric motor. But this sticker price is $84,758, and it starts at $80,000. So that's kind of what I was telling you about prices. This is in the new mud bath exterior color. Kind of see this kind of a earthy tone. This is what the interior looks like. So once again, very, very premium. 3 rows of seats, but the back is a little bit less roomy than in the Wagoneer. So, and it's partially because there's a battery right there underneath the third row, and it does have a bit of a hump, kind of a transmission tunnel right there. But this is the TRD Pro. Let me show you this vehicle from the back a little bit. I think it's quite attractive. And then if I walk a little bit further here in the Toyota booth, of course you'll see several other trucks, but you will see a Platinum TRD Off-Road. So TRD Off-Road is a package you can get on several other versions of the Sequoia. And here just happens to be a little bit more of a premium one. But once again, the story is the same. You're basically getting some performance. Right there, those tires, same tires. Specially tuned suspension, not Fox, but Bilstein. And slightly different price. But this is also Platinum, which means it's a little bit more luxurious. Just different style. And the price on this guy starts at around $76,865. So what I was telling you before, that $75,000 starting price on the Overland Special Edition is actually a pretty good value when you compare it across. Let's keep moving. So now it gets real. This is the new 2025 Chevy Tahoe, and this is the bestseller class leader in sales, options, powertrain choices, and the rest. This is a Z71, and it's been refreshed for 2025, as you can see in the front end. And so why is this a class leader? And of course, this is also an off-road, a little bit more off-road focused version of it. Well, there's a couple of reasons. I'll get to some of those reasons in a second. I just wanted to show you the tires. These are Goodyear Wrangler Territory ATs. Also between 32 and 33 inches in diameter. So the tire packages on all these, the Wagoneer, the Sequoia we just saw, and now the Tahoe, the tire sizes are very similar. But I think the reason why the Tahoe is one of the best seller, or the best seller in the class, even before you add in the GMC Yukon and the Cadillac SUVs. I'm just talking about Chevrolet by itself. I think it's availability of different powertrains, choice. The one you see here is equipped with a 6.2 liter V8. Their big V8 option, which is optional and costs more, with 420 horsepower. But it also has a really good amount of space. So let me actually fold this down so you can kind of see. In the floor, the seat is actually a really good distance off the floor. So it's got a little bit better leg and knee space than the Sequoia. It's very similar to the Wagoneer we saw. Wagoneer also offers a long wheelbase. So does the Tahoe. The long wheelbase Tahoe is the Suburban. You can see those quad pipes. That's another clue that this has that 6.2 liter V8. But you can be had with a diesel, the 3 liter Duramax. And the starting price of the Tahoe Z71 is this plus this. So about $68,500 plus $3,800. So it's just around 72-ish. So it's very similar actually in price to the price on that special edition Overland edition Wagoneer. Then with this V8, or even if you add the diesel, the 3 liter Duramax, the price goes up to about 76-ish. And then with a 6.2, the price goes up even further to about 81. So, and this one is, after a small discount, is $84,095. So yeah, the pricing is pretty crazy, but I think the comfort overall, the fact that they've been selling the Tahoe for decades. Actually, the Chevy Suburban is the longest running nameplate in the country. So it's got name recognition. Of course, Tahoe is not that old. It's about kind of 3 decades old as far as the name is concerned, but the Chevrolet SUVs have been known for a very long time. They're very comfortable, large, and they offer some choices, including a more efficient power plants like the Duramax diesel. So, all right, well, this is the class leader. Let's take a look at another one. Yes, this is one of the newest competitors on the market, the 2025 Nissan Armada, and this is the Pro 4X. And it's actually on sale already, so you can go out and pick one up. And that's really important because I was just looking at the sales numbers for the first quarter of 2025, and actually the Armada and the QX80, it's kind of a sister vehicle from Infiniti, their sales are improving. Especially QX80 has been on the market for a few months. Those sales are going up. This is still kind of a changeover. Basically, the old one is kind of going away and the new one is just coming online. These are built in Japan, so it may take a little while to bring some of these over. But this is a very thorough redesign. Brand new chassis, brand new suspension, a brand new twin turbo V6 underneath the hood, but a lot of power. 425 horsepower in this puppy. And a lot of capability. You could see Nissan is using, right there, Geolander tires, ATs, once again. They're also about a 33-inch diameter. These are Yokohamas with a nice wheel. And I think you see a trend. A lot of these manufacturers are using this 20-inch wheel design with an all-terrain 33 or so, maybe 32 to 33-inch tall tire. So this is kind of where the market is. Like I said, I would have preferred a slightly smaller diameter wheel, a little bit more sidewall for a little bit more cushion off-road. But very luxurious interior, redesigned interior. There's a little bit of music playing in here, so I'm not gonna hang out here very much. Just wanted to show you what the interior looks like, the stitching. This also has, actually, I think they went to a solid rear axle. Let me double check. I think, no, I'm sorry, that was a Toyota. This is independent rear suspension. So still should have decent amount of rear space. You can kind of see that right here. Let me just kind of focus on the rear here. Yeah, good amount of space. Maybe not quite as much legroom as some of the best. Maybe the Wagoneer is almost the best, along with the Tahoe. But here's this competitor, and the starting price, guess what? A Pro 4X is one of the more premium package or trim levels, actually, not a package. It's not like a TRD off-road would be in a Toyota Sequoia. This is also around 80 grand to start for this particular trim, the off-road trim. All right, let's do the final SUV now. And finally, one of the newer refreshes and updates, 2025 Ford Expedition, and this is the Tremor. Actually, I haven't driven this new version of the Expedition yet. We've driven all the rest of the SUVs that I just talked about. Well, not the Overland edition, but I've driven the Wagoneer. This is an update. They're calling it all new, but I would say it's a very, very heavy update refresh. The reason why they're calling it all new, because they updated the suspension on the new Expedition, because one of the design criteria was to fit, as you could see on this one, a 24-inch wheel. And in order to fit a 24-inch wheel right there on an Expedition, they had to redesign some of the attachment points, make sure that steering geometry was good, and it also could accommodate this, a 33-inch tall General Grabber ATX tire. So once again, yet another brand of tire, but also basically a 33-inch diameter. And it's very capable as well. Locking rear differential, side steps, skid plates, very aggressive styling, and of course all the features, all of the luxury and driver assistance technologies are included, as well as the new style. You can see the new headlamps. Some of the sheet metal is very similar to before. The rear end has changed. Also the dual tailgate, where the bottom of it folds down separately. They have a little table here, which I think is pretty clever. It also turns into a seat back, so you can kind of sit down on this tailgate and be protected a little bit from the sun or the weather with the upper hatch. So I think it's a very clever design. And I cannot jump on this turntable, but you could see the interior has changed with kind of that screen that spans halfway across the dashboard. But the starting price for a 2025 Expedition Tremor Edition is just over $81,000. So once again, this puppy is going to be in the 80s as well. So here's the question. Which SUV do you think is the best as far as off-roady, truck-based, three-row, full-size, tow a lot of weight SUVs? So that's the question up to you. But I think the whole point of this video was to take a look at that Overland edition, and I think it's becoming a lot more attractive. When the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer came out several years back, I just felt like they were priced out of reach for a lot of customers. And of course they had good capability, but I think with this new Overland edition, they are making the price a little bit more reasonable, offering a lot of capability all in one package. So I think that Overland edition Wagoneer is becoming very, very attractive, but I'm curious how this is going to drive, because the suspension is new, the wheel and tire package, how it matches against it, and how all the tech works. I really want to try this out, but I would say that I kind of want to, maybe my mind is on that Wagoneer. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and check out oldtfl.com for all the coverage from New York Auto Show for 2025. All the previous years that we've done, we're on our 15th year. And also coverage from Moab, Utah, because Roman and Tommy are there at the Easter Jeep Safari. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.